Welcome to the Keno Sports Complex in Tucson, Arizona. The Desert Friendlies preseason opener for the Portland Timbers as they play Sporting Kansas City tonight here in non-desert-like conditions. It's in the 50s. It's been raining for the past few days. Perfect weather for the Portland Timbers, who will certainly feel at home here in Tucson, Arizona. I'm Jake Zivin. This is the first of 3 matches in Arizona for the Timbers, a chance to see new faces and old faces that are familiar to the Timbers fans. And for Kansas City, it's the same. Both of these teams made some changes in the offseason. KC certainly more than the Portland Timbers, who just made a few tweaks. We will see tonight a new goalkeeper, a new center back, but other than that, a completely familiar lineup for the Portland Timbers. For Sporting Kansas City, a very different story as they deal with a good amount of turnover from the offseason as well as some significant absences from this game specifically, where we'll see some new guys and get to know the next this season, next look, I guess you could say, of Sporting Kansas City. Both teams finished 2014 with identical point totals, 49. For Sporting Kansas City in the East, that was good enough to make the playoffs. They lost in the wild card round. For the Timbers, that was 1 point from making the Western Conference playoffs. Now these are conference foes with the realignment for Major League Soccer this season. The Timbers and Sporting Kansas City both in the West, as SKC and Houston have come over from the East to make room for New York City FC and Orlando City SC, the 2 new expansion clubs in Major League Soccer this season. So unlike the past 2 years, we'll see these 2 teams will see each other 3 times during the regular season. And of course, tonight in the preseason opener for both clubs. Kickoff is still a few minutes away. We'll be back with starting lineups and the kickoff of the Portland Timbers and Sporting Kansas City. The 2015 preseason minutes away from getting underway for the Portland Timbers. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, if I could have you all rise and remove your caps as we pay tribute to this great country with the playing of our national anthem.
Just moments away from kickoff, the first preseason match of 2015 for the Portland Timbers. Starting lineups for the Timbers, a new goalkeeper, our first chance to see Adam Kwarasi, the signing from Ghana, the Ghanaian international, played his career in Norway. He's from Norway, and he will man the net for the Timbers to begin this match. The back line, right back, Elvis Powell. Nat Borchers, the other another offseason signing that will start this match for the Timbers. Timbers acquired him in a trade with Real Salt Lake. Norberto Paparazzo will be the center back pairing for Nat Borchers. Jorge Villafana outside left. The defensive midfielders, Diego Chara and Ben Zemanski. In the attack, Rodney Wallace, Gaston Fernandez, Darlington Nagbe, and Fernando Adi. There's been a lot of rain here in the Tucson area for the past couple of days. Of course, if you're familiar with Tucson, with Arizona, that's uncommon. That doesn't happen very frequently. This field, as is the majority of the soil in this area, has a tough time handling that much water. You'll see there's a little bit of standing water on the field, and they're going to test it out. They're going to give this match a go. They're going to start playing, but they're going to be monitoring the standing water situation, the conditions of the field, and if at any point it gets dangerous, it feels like it's dangerous, then they could reassess whether or not this match continues. Starting lineups quickly for Sporting Kansas City. In goal, a new face for Sporting Kansas City, Luis Marin. He's a Chilean. Seth Sinovic, Jaleel Anibaba, Brent Griffiths, a trialist on the back line, and Kevin Ellis. As we are underway here at the Keno Sports Complex, Benny Feilhaber, MLS veteran, starting in the midfield for Sporting Kansas City, as is Servando Carrasco, Paulo Nagamura, Bernardo Anyor, Christian Nemeth, Dom Dwyer up top for SKC. Luis Marin sends the ball across midfield towards Dom Dwyer. This is Christian Nemeth, lays it back for Kevin Ellis, and you see the standing water on the field affecting the match right there, the ball just dying. Kevin Ellis plays it off of Rodney Wallace. It's a throw for SKC. Ellis saw a lot of action for Sporting Kansas City last season, throws it in. Norberto Paparazzo wins it for the Timbers. It's played over the top, and Luis Marin will control for Sporting Kansas City. Jaleel Anibaba, last year with the Seattle Sounders. Carrasco over to Brent Griffiths. It's back to Griffiths. This is a trialist. Most recently played in the A-League in Australia. Spending some time here in preseason with Sporting Kansas City and getting the start tonight. Luis Marin across midfield, flicked on by Kevin Ellis. Jorge Villafana sends it back across midfield. Settled by Jaleel Anibaba. Looking direct for Dom Dwyer. Elvis Powell sends it wide towards Darlington Nagbe, who goes around Seth Sinovic. Play on, says the referee. Nagbe comes forward. Sends it into the box. Griffiths gets a foot on it. And it's cleared by Sporting Kansas City. Seth Sinovic, longtime Sporting Kansas City player. Mainstay on this back line for the past few years. Feilhaber gets it over to Ellis and Sani Baba. Carrasco comes back to collect. Darlington Nagbe wins it for the Timbers. Zemanski back to Paparazzo. Out wide to Nat Borchers. Borchers, probably the headlining signing for the Timbers, acquired in a trade. Fernandez flicks it wide towards Rodney Wallace. Chested down. Now Zemanski. Elvis Powell. Top of the area, takes a deflection. And Luis Marin controls for Sporting Kansas City. Ben Zemanski able to send it towards goal. In the third minute, scoreless here in Tucson. Pretty nice crowd, including a fairly sizable section of the Timbers Army, the Desert Corps, as their banner reads, to watch their team play first of 3 friendlies here in Tucson. Chara looking for Nagby. Sinovic gets ahead on it. He was rather looking for Alvis Powell making an overlapping run. It's a throw-in for the Timbers. Nagby takes it. Diego Chara into Powell. Dwyer has it for Sporting Kansas City. Christian Namath, new signing this offseason for Sporting Kansas City, came over from the Dutch League. Came up with Liverpool. And at one point, Christian Namath led the Premier Reserve League in scoring in the 2007-2008 season. Hungarian international. Now playing for Sporting Kansas City. Dom Dwyer's offside. And finally, the whistle blows. Borchers. Zemansky. He's going to play a lot, especially early in this season with Will Johnson still recovering from a broken leg suffered at the end of last year. Chara steps in, knocks Nagamura off the ball. Nagamura is able to get it wide to Sinovic. Bernardo Añor. It's into touch, throwing for the Timbers. Borchers. Paparazzo. Of course, Liam Ridgewell not with the Timbers yet. He's on loan, a short-term loan with Wigan Athletic. He will be back for the Simple Invitational at the end of February. So tonight it's Borchers and Paparazzo, the two center backs for the Timbers. Borchers looking for Adi, chests it down, gets around Griffiths. Adi gets by Griffiths in the box. Fernando Adi. And it's sent clear by Jalil Anibaba. But a dangerous move forward from Fernando Adi. And now Christian Namath on the counterattack. Benny Feilhaber back to Namath. Ball again just dying in some of the heavy water spots in the midfield. Nagamura. Sinovic. Añor. Back to Nagamura. Nagamura now in his fourth season, entering his fourth season with Sporting Kansas City. Long-time MLS vet, over 200 matches in the league. Anibaba. Back to Marine. Carrasco. Anibaba. Benny Feilhaber. Namath tries to turn on Zemansky. Ben Zemansky called for a foul. Christian Namath goes down into a puddle of water. Maybe doesn't like that very much. Certainly, I think one of the last things these teams expected when they book a trip to Tucson is having to deal with elements like this. It's just the unluck of the draw, I suppose. Not going to have many days in the year like this in Tucson, Arizona. Sinovic lays it off. Borchers sends it clear. Feilhaber knocked off the ball in the midfield. Foul called on Ben Zemansky. Griffiths, Anibaba. Rodney Wallace does a nice job of breaking that up, and it's off of Gaston Fernandez, so it's a throw-in for Sporting Kansas City. Feilhaber. Long ball looking for Añor. Darlington Nagby comes forward now for the Timbers. Zemansky, Fernandez. Villafana overlapping on the left side. Rodney Wallace. And nobody there on top of the 18. And now Sporting Kansas City will try to come forward. Chara poked it away, but it goes right to Benny Feilhaber. Kevin Ellis, now Feilhaber. A lot of possession for Sporting Kansas City, but it's all been in the back. Timbers keeper Adam Quaresy hasn't had to do anything yet. 9 minutes into the match, scoreless here in Tucson, Arizona. Elvis Powell looking over the top. It's handled by Kevin Ellis. Ani Baba sends it back to Luis Marine. Brent Griffiths, again a trialist, getting the start for Sporting Kansas City today. Seth Sinovic looking forward. Paparazzo steps in, wins it for the Timbers. Now it's Villafana having to deal with that standing water on his left side of the field. It was dry at kickoff. It's started to rain a little bit here 10 minutes in. A heavier rain earlier this afternoon in Tucson. This more of a light drizzle, nothing that the Timbers aren't used to dealing with. Adi Villafana, broken up well by Kevin Ellis. Villafana gets it back in the midfield. Sends it wide to Nagbe, who has some room. Now closed down. He finds Ben Zemansky. Fernandez turns. Has an overlapping run from Elvis Powell. One touch cross into the box. Wallace tries to run onto it. Ellis heads it down. And it's sent clear by Sporting Kansas City. Paparazzo, Dwyer going after it. Paparazzo won that battle. Adam Quaresy off his line. One of his first touches as a Portland Timber. Adam Quaresy, the Ghanaian international, signed this offseason. Played for Strømsgodset in Norway. Was the 2013 Keeper of the Year in Norway. Now comes to replace Donovan Ricketts, who of course now with Orlando City SC. Looking for Dom Dwyer is Sporting Kansas City, and again Paparazzo deals with it well. Chara wide to Powell. Elvis Powell now fully a Portland Timber. Was just on loan the past couple of years. That, in fact, may have gotten lost. Was signed outright from Portmore United. Feilhaber pressured. Gets it to Nagamura. Finally, they connect with Dom Dwyer, and Villafana breaks it up. Sporting Kansas City has been trying to find Dom Dwyer in the first, now 12 minutes of the match. Timbers' back line has done well to keep him off the ball. Into the 13th minute, scoreless here in Tucson. It will be 2 45-minute halves tonight. How the teams decide to handle those with substitutions, we will see. Fernando Adi chests the ball down towards Rodney Wallace. Christian Nemeth takes it away. Wallace recovers, gets it back, and is fouled. Kevin Ellis and Jorge Villafana having some words. Last year when these two teams met in the first match of the preseason, Aurelian Collin, no longer on Sporting Kansas City, was red carded in just 30 minutes of play, had 2 yellow cards. Certainly maybe a preseason match, but matches such as this one have, of course, been played with a similar intensity to a normal regular season match. Not quite the same. Elvis Powell tried to get it to Nagbe, ended up coming forward himself. Now it's Darlington Nagbe. Still Nagbe. Slotted wide to Adi. He is onside. Takes a touch, keeps it in play. Still Adi. Back to Wallace. And his shot is blocked by Brent Griffiths. Nagby trying to turn. The ball goes into touch. The Sporting Kansas City player down. The trainer will come out to check on, I believe, that's Sinovic. Fernando Adi went around him. Took the ball to the byline and didn't see what happened to Sinovic. But he is down. Seth Sinovic, the 2014 Sporting Kansas City Defender of the Year. Of course, has been such a solid part of the Kansas City backline the past few seasons, including their MLS Cup winning season of 2013. Well, if you missed out on the iconic 2011 Timbers photo shoot, in which fans had their portraits taking holding axes, you've of course seen those billboards, you have one more chance. The Timbers are recreating that special event in celebration of the team's 5th year in MLS and 40th anniversary in Portland. It happens on 2 weekends, February 6th and 7th, and then February 14th and 15th. The event is free. Details can be found at timbers.com/axeportraitfaq. That's timbers.com/axeportraitfaq. Obviously, a really cool opportunity to get your picture taken and show off your love of the Portland Timbers. Seth Sinovic now up and heading towards the sideline. And they're calling for a substitution. As you'd expect in a preseason match, no reason to have a guy stay in if there's even a question of whether or not he should be. The 16th minute, scoreless between the Portland Timbers and Sporting Kansas City. KC has probably had more of the possession, but it's all been in the midfield, not in the final third. The Timbers, meanwhile, have been the more dangerous team going forward. Sinovic is out. Substitute now coming on for Sporting Kansas City. Darlington Nagby. Wide to Powell. Trying to get a cross off and carried the ball into touch. Amadou Dia is the sub coming on for Seth Sinovic for Sporting Kansas City. Amadou Dia is a rookie from Clemson University, an outside back, a left back drafted to possibly give cover for Seth Sinovic in a situation such as this. And now he sees his first game action for Sporting Kansas City. Adi off of Dia. And a throw in coming for the Timbers. Into the box. Nagby can't get around Amadou Dia. And off his line is Luis Marin. Sporting Kansas City will have a restart. Benny Feilhaber, Christian Nemeth. Paparazzo again gets his foot in there, knocks it away. Feilhaber gets it back. And again, a foul in the midfield, this time on Diego Chara. And Sporting Kansas City will have a chance to send the ball into the box if they so desire. Instead, they play it short. Carrasco. Nagamura. Broken up by Ben Szymanski. Powell goes back to Adam Quaresy. He sends it across midfield. Something Caleb Porter has talked about is that Quaresy plays a little bit higher up the field, and the Timbers will play through him a little bit more maybe than they did with Donovan Ricketts. Villafana. Back to Wallace. Chara. Villafana, nice flick onto Wallace. Back to Villafana, back to Wallace. That's great combination from the Portland Timbers. Into the box. Adi. And it's off of Griffiths. It'll be the first corner kick of the match. And some beautiful buildup in the midfield by Rodney Wallace and Jorge Villafana. Gaston Fernandez will take the corner kick. Curls it to the back post. Paparazzo heads it, and it's cleared off the line. Still in the 18. The ball pops high into the air. But another chance for the Timbers, who have looked dangerous coming forward in the first 20 minutes of this match. Maybe another one here, Wallace. Off of Jalil Anibaba and then off of Rodney Wallace. It'll be a throw-in for Sporting Kansas City. #21st minute. Neither team has scored. Kevin Ellis to Dom Dwyer. Again, Paparazzo comes in, wins it. Tried to play it off of Dwyer and was unable to. Then Villafana sliding in. And these two teams getting into it a little bit. The competitive juices coming out in the first structured match of the preseason. And a yellow card shown to Jorge Villafana. First card of the preseason. First card of this match goes to Jorge Villafana. Griffiths, pressured by Adi, goes back to Luis Marine. Marine played the entirety of his career until this season in Chile, his native country. Now with Sporting Kansas City. Kevin Ellis's cross is into the arms of Adam Quaresy. And a corner kick is signaled. Quaresy kind of knocked the ball down to himself, and in doing so, played it over the end line. So the first corner kick of the match for Sporting Kansas City. Benny Feilhaber will take it. Timbers almost scored on a corner kick just minutes ago. Now Sporting Kansas City gets a chance. Feilhaber, top of the 18. It's pops out to Servando Carrasco, and nothing comes of that. Easy for Adam Quaresy. Long throw out to Darlington Nagbe. Now Ronnie Walsh, some space in the midfield. Gaston Fernandez. Elvis Powell coming forward. Powell tries to get into the box. Dia let it run into touch. and a goal kick. The main referee initially signaled corner kick, but the assistant said it's a goal kick. 24th minute. Scoreless. They're at the Keno Sports Complex, Tucson, Arizona. First match of the preseason for both the Portland Timbers and Sporting Kansas City. Norberto Paparatto. Szymanski. Powell. Borchers. Elvis Powell. Timbers win a throw. Fernandez is taken away by Sporting Kansas City. Ben Szymanski gets it right back for the Timbers. Villafaña, Wallace, they've combined nicely so far today. Looking for Adi. Cut off by Anibaba. Ellis sends it into touch. Villafaña. Adi tried to flick it on. Anibaba broke it up. Feilhaber. Añor. Bernardo Añor played for Columbus Crew previously. A guy that Peter Vermees has liked for a few years, he said. This offseason went out and got him. Traded allocation money for the left midfielder. Anibaba. Feilhaber. Anibaba looking for Dwyer. Villafaña got there first. Wallace helps it on into touch. Ellis. Dwyer with some space on the throw-in. Running at Nat Borchers. Sent it across the top of the 18, and Ben Szymanski was there to handle it for the Timbers. The ball just a little too much for Elvis Powell. Throwing for Sporting Kansas City. Nagamura. Feilhaber. Benny Feilhaber into the box. Handled by Powell. Amadou Dia, a rookie, into the match. Feilhaber goes around Ben Szymanski and Diego Chara. Some nifty footwork in the midfield from the former U.S. national teamer. And another free kick for Sporting Kansas City. This one, the most dangerous of the match for either team. But 35 yards out would be certainly spectacular if he can put this on goal. But a chance to send it into the box for Kansas City. And he does just that towards the back post. It was headed clear by Szymanski and then finally sent out of danger by Elvis Powell. Six players in the starting 11 for Sporting Kansas City who weren't on the roster last season. For the Timbers, just two. A little indicative of these two teams and their off-season approaches. Timbers just making some tweaks. Sporting Kansas City, more of an overhaul, though the big pieces still there. Dom Dwyer, Graham Zusi, Matt Biesler, etc. Zusi and Biesler not playing today. Biesler's with the men's national team. Zusi still recovering from a lingering foot injury. Chance Myers, Iko Para also not playing today as they recover from an injury. And Roger Espinoza back with Sporting Kansas City after a stint in England. Also not playing tonight. And a giveaway and a chance for the Timbers. Fernandez cuts it back onto his right foot, shoots off the line. Adi saved by Marine. Still there for Fernandez. It's blocked. It's a handball. It's a penalty kick. It was furious inside the 18 as Gaston Fernandez, so patient, curled it towards the back post. It was blocked by a Sporting Kansas City defender. It fell to Fernando Wadi in a great position. Luis Marin made a big save. And then Fernandez's follow-up handled by a Kansas City defender. So in the 29th minute, it'll probably be the 30th minute by the time this is taken, Gaston Fernandez, a chance for the first goal of the preseason for the Timbers. Luis Marin, the keeper for Sporting Kansas City. Fernandez to take the penalty kick for the Timbers. And he goes down the middle, so cheeky from Lagata. It's 1-0. In the 30th minute, Gaston Fernandez has opened the 2015 preseason scoring book for the Timbers. And 1-0, and now wholesale changes coming for Sporting Kansas City. At the 30-minute mark, the first team for Sporting Kansas City will come off trailing 1-0 as the Desert Corps of the Timbers Army gets to release their green smoke flares here at the Keno Sports Complex. So again, a large number of substitutions, and we will sort them out as we're able to. Dom Dwyer is off. Bernardo Añor is off. Paulo Nagamura is off. Servando Carrasco is off. Benny Feilhaber is off. Christian Namath is off. Kevin Ellis, one of the few guys still in the match. Looking for Alex Dixon. He's a trialist. Villafaña sends it off of Dixon. A former Portland Timber in the match for Sporting Kansas City now, and James Marceline. As they made 7 substitutions. And a chance maybe for Sporting Kansas City as Mikey Lopez takes the ball away. And wins a corner kick. Second of the match for Sporting Kansas City. Jimmy Madronda will take the corner kick. It's headed clear by Fernando Wadi. Back into the box and then sent clear by Paparazzo. You will see a number 8 on the field for Sporting Kansas City, who doesn't look much like Graham Zusi. It's Alex Dixon. He's a trialist wearing Zusi's number 8 tonight as Zusi recovers from a foot injury. Luis Marin looks like he'll play the whole first half. Sends it across midfield. Zemanski back to Paparazzo. Nat Borchers. Timbers lead 1-0, 30th minute. Gaston Fernandez penalty kick. The difference. Mikey Lopez feisty, but Nagby's able to get it back to Borchers. Gets it up to Adi. Borchers. Quaresy. Into touch. Fernandez, Nagby, tackled away. Darlington is down, and a foul is called. That's Brent Griffiths who got whistled. And Nagby sits up. Appears to be all right. Gaston Fernandez scored on a penalty kick in the 30th minute, and then Sporting Kansas City made 7 substitutions. as they look to play 3 30-minute segments. Gaston Fernandez. Back post. Adi has a chance, and he put it just wide. They lost Fernando Adi. And the designated player striker for the Timbers just curled it around the post. Marcelin. Dixon. Santiago Otero, another trialist in the match for Sporting Kansas City right now. Marine. Marceline. Marine. Mikey Lopez. Back to James Marcelin. Wallace. Looking for Villafana. And it's just sent into touch. Luis Marine, the keeper, didn't like that from James Marcelin. And the Timbers with a throw deep in their attacking half. Fernandez. Villafana all the way back to his keeper. Not a ton of pressure from Sporting Kansas City. Amadou Dia, Brent Griffiths leaves it for Santiago Otero. Mikey Lopez. Griffiths. Dia, the rookie, first round draft pick. Another first round pick, Connor Hallisey, in the match for Sporting Kansas City. Jacob Peterson. Chara. Nagby brought down from behind. A man always among the most fouled players in Major League Soccer has already suffered a few tonight. Was second in that category last season. Led the league in 2013. Was actually fouled more in 2014 than 2013 when he led the league. But Quincy Amarikwa, the Chicago Fire, suffered 101 fouls last season. Nagby 92. Just about 3 a match. Ben Zemansky whistled. So here are the players in the match for Sporting Kansas City right now. We think we've gotten it sorted out. Jacob Peterson is up top. He replaced Dom Dwyer. Connor Hallisey, first round pick, 10th overall, is in the match. Mikey Lopez, Alex Dixon, and Santiago Otero, 2 trialists, have entered the match. And Jimmy Madranda, as well as James Marcelin. So 7 substitutions after that goal for Sporting Kansas City. After the Timbers goal, Sporting Kansas City at the 30th minute, playing, again, kind of 3 30-minute periods, so to speak. Mikey Lopez comes back to collect, playing the role that Servando Carrasco played in the first 30 minutes. Combining with Otero. Now Madranda. Amadou Dia, 20th overall pick, coming forward with some pace. But a little too much, and it's a goal kick for the Timbers. Stay tuned at halftime. Timbers general manager Gavin Wilkinson will join me as we will get his thoughts on the first 45 minutes of the preseason for the Portland Timbers in 2015. Chara. Back to Quaresy. The new Timbers keeper sends it to midfield. Kevin Ellis maintains possession for Sporting Kansas City. Alex Dixon played it off of Rodney Wallace to throw in for Kansas City. Alex Dixon, a player on trial here in Tucson, was a former Houston Dynamo homegrown signing. Played for the Dynamo for 2 seasons. Last year was with the Rochester Rhinos in USL Pro. Now on trial here with Sporting Kansas City. Again, Dixon wearing Graham Zusi's familiar number 8. Zusi is here on the bench, but will not play this evening. Mikey Lopez dispossessed by Diego Chara. Chara coming forward with some pace, and he's taken down. And a yellow card shown to Santiago Otero in the 40th minute. Second card of the match, where Villafana was booked earlier. Otero shown the yellow card, another trialist. There's a handful of them here with Sporting Kansas City tonight. He's an Argentinian, most recently played for Godoy Cruz in Argentina. Alvis Powell. Back to Nagbe. Still Darlington Nagbe, and he wins a corner kick. Always one of, if not the most dangerous men on the field. Gaston Fernandez will take this corner kick. Fernandez, of course, figures to be the primary free kick, corner kick taker until Diego Valeri comes back. Sent cleared by Kansas City. Madranda gave it right back. Nagbe controlled. And now Rodney Wallace sprung through. And it's a terrible giveaway by SKC. Adi carried it just over the end line. It'll be a goal kick. Fernando Adi put it in the back of the net after a pretty brutal giveaway by Sporting Kansas City. He rounded the keeper, Luis Marin, and just couldn't quite keep it in play. So it's still 1-0 Portland. Into the 42nd minute. Paparazzo. Ball stays in play. And James Marceline comes back to collect. Marceline played for the Timbers in 2011 and briefly in 2012. 20 matches, started 12 of them in Portland. Was also a member of the USL Timbers in 2010. Last season played for the Fort Lauderdale Strikers in the NASL. This is Alex Dixon sending it into the box. And no problem for Adam Quaresy. Quaresy hasn't been too busy in the first half. Chara. Borchers. Villafana, Paparazzo, Adam Quaresy. Nat Borchers looking over the top for Fernando Adi. Brent Griffiths heads it down. Santiago Otero gave it away. Fernandez has a run from Adi, and he's offside. The flag is up. as Fernandez sprung Adi, but the run just a little too early. I'll just briefly mention the USL Timbers. James Marcelin, a member of that squad in 2010. They're back in a way. There's a new pro soccer team in Portland. Timbers 2 season tickets are on sale now. Additionally, there's still limited availability to join the 1975 Trust. T2 season tickets start at just $8 per game. You can call 503-553-5555. That's 503-553-5555 to purchase your Timbers 2 season tickets. Home opener just announced today. T2 will host the Real Monarchs on Sunday, March 29th at Merlot Field. Corner kick for Sporting Kansas City, curled in, headed down by Fernando Adi. Elvis Powell breaking out. Looking to switch fields for Rodney Wallace, who collects. Chara. Back to Powell. Borchers. Paparotto. We're now into the 45th minute of play. The clock is counting down here at the Keno Sports Complex, so no stoppage time expected. Just 5 seconds left on the clock. And now there is a minute of stoppage time announced, so we're going to probably hear a buzzer as the clock hits 0. But there will be an extra minute played. Quaresy. Villafana into touch. So we are now into stoppage time. There'll be a minute of it. Nagby goes down and draws a foul. Final moments of the first half. Timbers lead 1-0. A 30th minute penalty kick from Gaston Fernandez. And that's the final whistle of the first half. After 45 minutes, the Timbers with a deserved 1-0 lead. As the first team, you could say, for Portland plays Sporting Kansas City's first team, at least in the first 30 minutes, to a 1-0 advantage, and that is the score at halftime. And now as we begin halftime, I'm joined by a very special guest, Portland Timbers General Manager Gavin Wilkinson. Gavin, your thoughts on the first half, a 1-0 lead for the Timbers?
I think it served its purpose, obviously, first game of the year. And the plan was 45 minutes to get through it, work on the fitness of the players, and obviously it's very good competition in Kansas, but getting through that half with no injury is very, very important, and just start to see a little bit of rhythm in the players and start to see them combine, see us create a few chances and score a goal is always nice.
You mentioned basically the first team playing the first 45 minutes. What's the philosophy now for the second half?
I wouldn't say the first team. I would say potential starters.
Potential starters. There, much better way of putting it.
No, I think it's just two groups. Today, two groups of 45, both getting their fitness in, day off tomorrow, and then back to work on Monday. Obviously, there's a distraction on tomorrow, something called the Super Bowl. But for the group, you take the positives out of it. We created 4 or 5 good chances. Adi could have had a goal there. We isolated their central defenders, and you could start to see a little bit of rhythm between certain players. Jorge Villafana and Rodney Wallace, Elvis Powell and Darlington Nagby, and obviously to see Nat Borchers fit in very well, the goalkeeper with Nat and Paparotto. There's a lot of little triangles and groups of players that for the first 45, very impressive.
The two new faces that we saw in the first half, you mentioned Nat Borchers and Adam Quaresy. How important is preseason to getting those guys familiar with each other, familiar with the group?
I think all the importance is on familiarity with one another. Liam Ridgewell joins us. He'll be coming back on about the 16th of February, so it's important to get him integrated as well, and him paired with Nat or him paired with Paparotto, but just the understanding there. And I think with Adam, just to partner with Nat, to start to actually have a feel of the game, a feel for one another tactically in the game as well, and just to open up lines of communication while they're being put under pressure is very, very important. You see how players react, you can see how players move off one another, and you know, I'll just go back to a very positive start.
What do you look for now in the second half?
Just a level of energy. Obviously, younger players, some of them are trying to prove themselves, some of them are younger players returning from last year, and to see if they've matured, to see if they can go out there, hold their own, and start to impose themselves on the game. You've got players returning such as Taylor Pierre, George Fischive, and then you've got senior pros, Maxi Urruti, who will be looking to score, obviously. One of our draft picks, Nick Beasler, he'll be out there, and obviously it's an important time for him to settle into the group again and form partnerships. A lot of these players could end up partnering on our T2 team and give them opportunities and moments to develop, but at the moment they're in with the first group, and it's very important for them to impress the coaching staff.
Gavin, thanks for joining me. Timbers lead 1-0 at halftime. Second half coming up in just a few minutes. This is Portland Timbers preseason action on Timbers.com.
Okay, fans, are you ready for some second half action?
After a very brief halftime, we are underway the second half of the first preseason match of 2015 for the Portland Timbers. A 1-0 lead for the Timbers after the first half. And now a completely new group, a new 11 for the Timbers, including a couple rookies, a couple new signings, and a couple second-year players. Michael Nanchoff, a guy who's been around, plays it back to Danny O'Rourke, an MLS veteran, who's been in camp with the Timbers. Nick Beasler, first-round draft pick for Portland, sends it high into the air. Jack Jewsbury also out there. Here is the 11 for the second half for the Portland Timbers. In goal, Jake Gleason. Back line of Janderson out left. He's a Brazilian signing. Danny O'Rourke and Anthony Manning will be the center backs. Taylor Pay will be the right back. The defensive midfielders will be George Foshive and Nick Beasler. The attack, you'll see Michael Nanchoff on the left side. Jack Jewsbury playing the Diego Valeri role in this second half, the number 10. Dairon Asprilla, a Colombian, another signing from the offseason, on the right wing. And then Maxi Arruti, he of 10 goals from 2014, starting up top. For Sporting Kansas City, appears to be the same lineup that they ended the first half with the lone exception of Tim Melia in goal in place of Luis Marin. Melia most recently was with Chivas USA last season, at the beginning of last season, then was an MLS pool goalkeeper for the second half of the season, spent some time with Sporting Kansas City. They liked him, and they signed him this year. Jewsbury having to deal with that standing water. Again, a lot of rain in Tucson over the past few days. See what that's done to the field. Foshive, Asprilla. Dairon Asprilla, a chance to run at the 18. Nifty footwork. It's taken away by Sporting Kansas City. And then Michael Nanchoff, some great hustle to win it back for the Timbers. Nanchoff. Janderson. Here comes Sporting Kansas City. Mikey Lopez. Foul called on the Timbers. Amadou Dia. Brent Griffiths. Santiago Otero. James Marcelin. Goes by Nanchoff. Kevin Ellis. Jacob Peterson. Taylor Pay. This is Connor Halsley in the box. 10th overall pick. And wins a corner kick. It's actually off of Halsley as it took a deflection off Pay and then back off the Sporting Kansas City rookie. And it'll be a goal kick for the Timbers. Jake Gleason's goal kick is across midfield. George Foshive wins a header. Foul called on Sporting Kansas City. Anthony Manning. Tall, 6'4" center back from St. Louis University. He doesn't have a number, but he's the tall center back next to Danny O'Rourke. Third-round pick in the Super Draft. Nick Beasler, the other numberless player out there for the Timbers, the two rookies, seeing their first action as members of the club. Maxi Arruti, and a foul called first. Here's who's out there for Sporting Kansas City right now. Tim Melia in goal. Kevin Ellis, James Marcelin, Brent Griffiths, and Amadou Dia on the back line. Jimmy Madronda, Santiago Otero in the midfield. There's Melia playing it across or towards midfield. Connor Halsley, Mikey Lopez, Alex Dixon and Jacob Peterson in the attack. There's Griffiths. Hallisey. Now Otero. Kevin Ellis coming forward. Played a lot for Sporting Kansas City last season. As SKC hit with a lot of injuries and international absences, specifically on the back line. Ellis proved to be quite versatile. Can play pretty much anywhere on the back line. Jonderson, Beasler, Nanchoff, dispossessed. Marceline switches to Griffiths, heads it back to Melia. He's got to do something with it. Hits it high into the air. Jewsbury settles in the midfield. Poked away by Sporting Kansas City. Rudy at the top of the box goes down, and it'll be a very dangerous opportunity for the Timbers. Rudy wanted advantage. It wasn't offside because the ball was played backwards by Sporting Kansas City. There seemed to be possibly a little confusion, at least here at Keno Sports Complex over that. The assistant referee had his flag up. Rudy then wanted the advantage called, but he was dragged to the turf. And it'll be a very dangerous situation for the Portland Timbers. Just on top of the box, Michael Nanchoff. Jack Jewsbury over the ball, a left-footed option and a right-footed option for the Timbers. It will be Nanchoff! And that is fantastic from Michael Nanchoff. Off the post and into Melia, completely flat-footed. It's 2-0 Portland. Eight minutes into the second half. A spectacular free kick from the left foot of Michael Nanchoff. Curled it around the wall. Off the post and in. Nothing Tim Melia could do. And it's 2-0 Portland. Gaston Fernandez off a penalty kick in the 30th minute. And now Nanchoff in the 53rd. The goal scores for the Timbers. So far, a great way to open up the 2015 preseason. Asprilla gets held up by the standing water on the turf here in a rainy Tucson, Arizona. And now Jimmy Madronda coming forward. Janderson sends it clear, but it'll be out for a corner kick. Peterson. Marceline had a chance, and he sent it high over the goal. Jonderson to Anthony Manning. Back to Jake Gleason. Danny O'Rourke. Manning. Foshive. Rudy. Taylor Pay. Santiago Otero already sitting on a yellow card. Takes down Taylor Pay. Taylor Pay entering his second year. Played for the University of Washington. Foshive to the end line, taken away. Jacob Peterson. Dia. Madranda. Still Jimmy Madranda. And now Anthony Manning in the midfield, and a delayed whistle called against the Timbers. With chance in the second half to see some of the youth and some of the new faces on the Portland Timbers for this 2015 season. Something that in the first half wasn't really necessary to see, just because there is a lot of stability on this roster. And that was a group of guys who've been here, with the exceptions of Nab Borchers and Adam Quaresy, the keeper. Everybody else with the team a year ago. Now, new faces mixed with some veterans. But a good first look at some of those guys. And a good opportunity here for Sporting Kansas City. I'll have a free kick about 30 yards out. Jimmy Madranda over the ball. Two-man wall for the Timbers. Madranda goes for goal and puts it over the net. Janderson, Nanchoff. Nick Beasler. Pressured and plays it into touch. Nanchoff comes back and wins it. Playing with a bounce in his step, as you would expect after scoring a spectacular free kick just 8 minutes into his preseason campaign. Came on, as did everybody who's out on the field for the Timbers now, came on at halftime. Espria couldn't control it. Amadou Dia. Madranda. Dia. Mikey Lopez pressured and gives it away. Espria can come forward. Threads it through to a Rudy. And sliding and breaking it up for Sporting Kansas City was Santiago Otero. Kevin Ellis looking for Jacob Peterson. Marcelin switches fields. Hallisey, one touch back in. Goes off of Manning, who stayed composed and got it to Dairon Espria. Espria trying to work into space and show off his speed. Knocked down, no call. Otero. Marcelin. Madranda. Manning cuts it off. Pay. Espria dispossessed. Madranda coming forward with some pace. Early cross in. Gleason was able to punch it clear. Difficult to handle on a wet turf with bodies all around. Gleason did well to knock the ball clear. 7 more substitutions getting ready to come on for Sporting Kansas City, who are using this match as 3 30-minute periods, essentially. Some guys will play 60s, some just 30, including this last group of some young guys and some trialists. Again, we will try to sort out who is coming on and who is coming off as we are able to. Eric Palmer-Brown, Christian Duke among those seeing the field. Tony Rocha, heading out there, Jorge Claros. James Rogers, Felipe Hernandez, and Daniel Rodriguez coming on for Sporting Kansas City. Hallacy looking for Rocha, taken away by the Timbers. Asprilla, Beasler, Taylor Pay, Anthony Manning, Danny O'Rourke. Nanshoff flicks it on to the overlapping Jonderson. Jonderson pulled off the ball, and a foul called. Free kick in a dangerous spot coming up for the Timbers. Nanshoff over the ball. Taylor Pay getting some instructions from Caleb Porter now. It's back into the mixer. Nanshoff to the back post. It bounces. Jack Jewsbury settles. And Jewsbury is dispossessed. Sporting Kansas City coming forward now. Connor Hallasley leaves it for Christian Duke. Jorge Claros. Christian Duke. Tony Rocha. Claros. Claros, a member of the Honduran World Cup team, signed last summer in the middle of the season. Played a good amount, certainly in the mix to start in the defensive midfield for Sporting Kansas City this season. Daniel Rodriguez, he's a trialist on the ball. Claros. Eric Palmer-Brown sends it into touch. Palmer-Brown still just 17 years old. One of the youngest players ever in MLS, youngest defender to ever start an MLS match. Second youngest player currently signed to a team in the league. Hallasley. James Rogers. Still James Rogers in the box. Handball called. Rogers, third round pick out of the University of New Mexico. Anthony Manning. Speaking of third round picks, Gleason, O'Rourke. Nick Beasler back to O'Rourke. Looking for Asprilla. Christian Duke rises up to win the header. Connor Hallasley sends a cross in all the way through. Nobody there. Anthony Manning keeps it away from James Rogers. Jewsbury to Beasler. O'Rourke. Taylor Pay closed down by Hallisley. O'Rourke goes back to Gleason. '66th minute, Timbers lead 2-0. Gaston Fernandez, Michael Nanshoff, the goal scorers. Fernandez scored on a penalty kick, and Nanshoff a spectacular free kick. Christian Duke coming forward, looking for Hallisley, and Christian Duke was offside. A 16-year-old is in the match for Sporting Kansas City. Felipe Hernandez, member of their academy, is here training with the first team. He's going to head back to the academy after this match. But a guy that Sporting Kansas City obviously is pretty high on, bringing him out here to train with the senior team, and someone that basically had been identified as a guy that they like. Want to give him this experience. He's wearing number 27. That's Roger Espinosa's number. Espinosa not playing today. A guy that MLS fans will know well. Played so well, an all-star for Sporting Kansas City before spending the past few seasons with Wigan Athletic over in England. Now back stateside. This is Felipe Hernandez, the 16-year-old, wearing number 27. Sends it wide to Christian Duke. Back to Hernandez. Jorge Claros. Tony Rocha. Hallisley in the box. Gleason off his line to close down the angle and lets it run out for a goal kick.
Now into the match for Sporting Kansas City, number 20, Jorge Claros. Number 27, Felipe Hernandez. Number 2, Eric Palmer-Brown. Number 28, D. Rodriguez. Number 25, Christian Duke. Number 31, Tony Rocha. And number 18, James Rogers.
Gleason sends the goal kick across midfield. Daniel Rodriguez. Now Eric Palmer-Brown looking for James Rogers. It's a throw in for the Timbers. Maxia Rudy, Jack Jewsbury, just behind Michael Nanshoff. Eric Palmer-Brown, Daniel Rodriguez, Christian Duke. Back to Rodriguez. Rodriguez, Colombian trialist. And one of several here with Sporting Kansas City playing tonight. Tony Rocha. Nanshoff coming forward, looking for a Rudy. He's behind the defense, but he is offside. The Desert Corps of the Timbers Army doesn't like it, but he was a step or two offside. Well, Portland Thorns ticket packages are on sale now. See U.S. Women's National Team stars Alex Morgan and Tobin Heath as they shoot for their second championship in 3 years. Ticket packages start as low as $55. Call 503-553-5555. That's 503-553-5555 to secure your seats today. Alex Morgan, Tobin Heath. Also, Rachel Von Hallebeck called up to the U.S. Women's National Team for friendlies overseas in about a week. They'll play against France on Sunday, February 8th. And then England on Friday the 13th. Of course, a Women's World Cup year. There will be multiple members of the Portland Thorns involved, both for the United States and other countries. An exciting year, exciting summer it will be for women's soccer. Christian Duke. Ball holds up in the standing water, and the Timbers can take advantage. Nanchoff coming forward. Lays it back to Jonderson. Jewsbury. Nick Beasler. Wide to Taylor Pay. Combining with Foshive. Pay gets it back. And Taylor Pay wins the throw-in. Taylor Pay saw some time last season with the Timbers in U.S. Open Cup play. Scored his first professional goal. Dairon Asprilla gets his shot blocked. And then Foshive puts it over the goal. Pay scored against Orlando City's under-23s in his first appearance, then started and played the full 90 in a 3-1 win over Sporting Kansas City in the U.S. Open Cup last season. Spent most of the year on loan with Orange County Blues. And possibly a guy, as a few other players out here right now, will take advantage of Timbers 2, T2, to develop in this system and not have to go on loan all the way down to Orange County. Can instead train alongside the Timbers and be in the system every day up in Portland. Taylor Pay. Maxi Arudi has Pay overlapping, and now Taylor Pay has some space. Sends it into the box, sent clear by Sporting Kansas City. Hallisey gives it away. Foshive, Nick Beasler, Jack Jewsbury. Jonderson in the 18. What a ball from Jewsbury. Arudi gets stoned. A chance for Foshive. And again, Tim Melia coming up big for Sporting Kansas City. Two massive saves as it looked like the Timbers were sure to make it three. That all started from a fantastic ball from the foot of Jack Jewsbury, picking out Jonderson. The outside back, new signing, the Brazilian coming forward, using his pace, and a very dangerous ball sent into the box by Jonderson. Or Tim Melia came up big. Nanchoff's corner curled in and sent over the bar. That was a chance for Dairon Asprilla. And he put it over. '75th minute now. It's 2-0 Portland still. Gaston Fernandez, Michael Nanchoff, the goal scorers. Taylor Pay whistled for a foul. Daniel Rodriguez, so Rudy almost got there. Christian Duke. Claros. Rogers trying to combine with the youngster Hernandez. Timbers get it clear. Nick Beasler. Had a Rudy making a run. I think Maxi was offside, so Beasler smartly didn't play it. But the Timbers a couple times have gotten close to sending a Rudy behind what has been a high Kansas City line. It feels like that could be there. Amadou Dia. Jonderson. still keeping Dia away from the ball, and finally winning a throw-in. Amadou Dia has played the longest of any player in this match. Came on for Seth Sinovic, who was injured about 15 minutes in. And then he's stuck it out the rest of the way. First round pick, 20th overall. An outside back or an attacking midfielder can play on the wing as well from Clemson University. Melia. Timbers win a free kick. O'Rourke. Jewsbury. Danny O'Rourke. Saunderson. Into the box. Headed clear by Christian Duke. A Rudy chance to turn on the top of the 18. He goes down, and the whistle blows. Another chance for a dangerous free kick for the Timbers. Michael Nanshoff from a similar spot scored in the 53rd minute. That one just about 19 yards away. This more like 25 out. Nanshoff and Jewsbury are over the ball for the Timbers. Pretty much straight on. Left-footed option, a right-footed option. It's Nanshoff again, and he put it over. '78th minute. 2-0 Timbers. Tim Melia. Jonderson wins it. Taken away by James Rogers. But it's a Timbers throw. Jack Jewsbury. Danny O'Rourke. Gleason. Anthony Manning. Manning, a good-looking player, just looks like a center back. 6'4", 200 pounds. Was a third-round pick, Anthony Manning was, from St. Louis University. Christian Duke into the box. It's easy for Jake Gleason. Gleason won a USL Pro championship last season while on loan with Sacramento Republic. Came up to the first team for the final several matches of the season on the bench as Donovan Ricketts is backup. And gets, I guess, the first chance, you could say, at the backup role this season. Playing second half of this preseason match. Great ball. Can Nanshoff get onto it? He cannot. Amadou Dia was able to handle it for Sporting Kansas City. Manning sends it back to Jake Gleason. O'Rourke. Gleason. Big boot. Jack Jewsbury. And now in the 86th minute, the Timbers Army Desert Corps singing "You Are My Sunshine." A pretty incredible showing from the supporters, considering this game being played in Tucson, Arizona. Maxi Arruti settles inside the 18. Tried to backheel it to Taylor Pay. And Sporting Kansas City coming the other way. James Rogers, Connor Hallisley off of Nick Beasler, who recovers and comes forward for the Timbers. Rudy combines with Beasler. He kept it in play. Christian Duke was able to cut him off and get it back to Tim Melia. Throughout the season, Timbers in 30 offers inside access to the inner workings and personalities of the club and provides analysis with in-studio appearances from Timbers coaches and players. The 2015 season debut of Timbers in 30 is Friday, March 6th at 6:30 p.m. on KPTV Channel 12 in Portland. Dyron Espria limping a little bit. Appears to be walking off whatever it is that ails him. Our first chance to see Dyron Espria. 22-year-old Colombian. One of just a few signings for the Timbers this offseason. Just tweaks from this club. Nothing major. A lot of the pieces the same. O'Rourke pressured by Rocha. That's a throw-in for Sporting Kansas City. Palmer Brown. James Rogers, rather Hallisley. Now it's Rogers. Michael Nanchoff. Alex Dixon. Wide to Amadou Dia. Dia with the left takes a deflection. Roach's header is out for a goal kick. Timbers lead 2-0 in the 84th minute. A 30th minute penalty kick from Gaston Fernandez gave the Timbers a 1-0 advantage. It was 1-0 at halftime. Total new 11 came on for the Timbers in the second half, and Michael Nanchoff in the 53rd minute. A pretty fantastic free kick goal from about 19 yards out. Bent it around the wall, off the post and in, to make it the current margin of 2-0. Jake Gleason sends it across midfield. Eric Palmer Brown wins a header for Sporting Kansas City. Two teams philosophically handling this first preseason game a little bit differently, just as far as playing time. Timbers with two separate 11s for the first 45 and the second 45. Connor Hallisley, he's been playing for a while as ball gets through. Jake Gleason controls. Connor Hallisley was a member of a group of 7 Sporting Kansas City players that came in the 30th minute. So they started with starting 11. Switched out 7 of the 10 guys after 30 minutes, and then again in the 60th minute, 7 more substitutions. So basically 3 segments of 30 for Kansas City for the Timbers. 2 halves with 2 different groups. Felipe Hernandez. Back to Daniel Rodriguez. Nanchoff tries to find Arudi. Palmer Brown. Melia. Claros. Eric Palmer Brown. Jorge Claros. Hernandez. Claros. Tony Rocha turns, trying to link up with Alex Dixon. It's taken away by the Timbers. Jewsbury. Nanchoff. Chests it down. Arudi is onside. Maxi Arudi into the box. Tries to cut it back. Palmer Brown. You got a foot in there. Arudi still has it. And plays it off of Eric Palmer Brown. Wins a throw for the Timbers. Nanchoff lays it off for Janderson. Right back to Nanchoff. Kansas City takes it away. Melia. Foshive won it for the Timbers. Hallisley. Christian Duke. James Rogers calling for the ball over the top. Duke instead plays it to his feet. Rogers. Felipe Hernandez now. Claros. To the feet of Dixon. Now wide to Amadou Dia. Dixon. Hernandez. Rogers. Dia inside the box. Cuts it back. Cross is blocked. And it'll be out for a corner kick. Not a ton of danger from the Sporting Kansas City attack tonight. Timbers have certainly had more of the opportunities. Scoreline shows that. Now into the 88th minute. Corner kick curled in. Flicked on off the head of Jewsbury. Foshive. Taylor Pay. Dispossessed by Connor Hallisley. The first round pick, 10th overall from the University of California at Berkeley. Rocha. Rogers. And played right into touch by Jorge Claros. Taylor Pay throws it in to George Foshive. Dairon Asprilla chests it down and plays it into touch. This is the first of 3 preseason matches for the Timbers here in Tucson, Arizona. They have a week until their next one. They'll play the Houston Dynamo here at Keno Sports Complex. Then on the 10th of February, which is a Tuesday, they'll play San Jose before returning to Portland. The Simple Invitational. Then at Providence Park in late February. Anthony Manning slides in to send it out of play. It'll be a corner kick for Sporting Kansas City now in the 90th minute. Those Simple Invitational matchups. Sunday, February 22nd, the Timbers will meet Vancouver at 5 o'clock. Then on Wednesday, the 25th, the Chicago Fire and the Portland Timbers. And then Stabæk from Norway, the final match of the Simple Invitational against Portland on Saturday, February 28th. Regular season opener for the Timbers. March 7th, Portland hosts Real Salt Lake, 7:30 p.m. at Providence Park, March 7th. A date to circle on your calendar, and a great matchup to start things off against old foe Real Salt Lake. These two teams will play in the regular season in week 3, the first road match for the Portland Timbers will be in Kansas City. That'll be on March 21st. 1 minute of stoppage time. We are in that minute of stoppage time. And for the Timbers, can get out of here with a preseason opening win. 2-0 now. Portland with the lead in stoppage time. Taylor Pay chests the ball down, tried to send it back to Danny O'Rourke, who is able to clear it across midfield. Pressure from Foshive. Christian Duke is able to get around that, rather Daniel Rodriguez. Now it's Connor Hallisey. Sends it into the box. It bounces and all the way out for a goal kick. And that's it. The final whistle here from Tucson, Arizona. The Timbers open up their 2015 preseason slate with a 2-0 win over Sporting Kansas City. The goal scorers, Gaston Fernandez in the 30th minute of the match in the first half, and then in the second half, Michael Nanchoff in the 53rd minute. Both off set pieces. Fernandez is a penalty kick, and Nanchoff a very pretty free kick goal. Again, next match for the Portland Timbers, Saturday, a week from tonight, right here in Tucson. The Timbers and the Houston Dynamo. One other match in Tucson, then Tuesday the 10th against San Jose. Regular season opens on March 7th, Portland and Real Salt Lake. Final score from Tucson, Arizona, Timbers 2, Sporting Kansas City 0. Thanks for joining us, and thanks to our entire crew for putting this together. I'm Jake Zivin. Have a great night.